I'm really glad that's happened for you.
Thank you. We better let.
We are live. Still want to throw that in there.
Happy to see you, Jody.
To the John Lavenia Mastermind Group. I'm Jaime Young, your host today. I wanted to go over again the schedule that we all referred to, just to remind everybody. Let me get to that. On the schedule today, later today, I believe, we have some yoga at 3:30 with Nancy. And then we have some global and tactical marketing again with Mark Riggle, excuse me, at 8 p.m. I didn't do that on purpose. Sorry, Mark. At 8 p.m. All those are, I believe, are Eastern Standard Time. Well, glad to see
it all, man.
Neil and Jane, Bill, Mark, Cyril. Lindsay is here. I haven't seen Lindsay on here for a while. Glad to see her. Star is back. Hi, Star, with her, is that wine or champagne? Both. Okay. Coral, Coila, I get tongue-tied on that, sorry. Sylvia, Gail, the Star Trek master of the world, Glen Henderson. You know what I thought I'd talk about today a little bit is that, oh, there's Echo. Thought I'd talk a little bit about Anivier. She's been here all morning with us chatting. What I thought I'd talk a little bit about today is routine. And at some point, this may sound we may wind in a little bit. It sound like a book review for the power of consistency. And I apologize in advance for that. I won't make it a book review, but some of that will hold true here. But what I wanted to talk about is routine and the routine of our day and our lives, and how almost everything that comes into our life is part of our routine. That routine could be, obviously, as you get up in the morning, we'll just do it on a daily basis. And we touched a little bit upon this about preparation too, a couple of weeks ago when I was talking. And some of that we'll integrate too. But the routine of our daily lives, whether it involves it's just you're by yourself, or you have a family, husband, family, kids, jobs. You get up in the morning. You may take a shower first. You may go make your coffee first, then take your shower. You may take some emails. I mean, we all have our different routine, right? It never changes. And as I think in the book of the beginning of the book of Power Consistency was, it's like, you drive down the street, you leave your house, you're going somewhere, and all of a sudden you're there. If somebody asked you, step by step, minute by minute, how'd you get there? You probably couldn't tell anybody because you're on autopilot. And that's what routine is. Routine is autopilot to me. And I think maybe for most of us here. Now what happens almost on a daily basis, maybe on an hourly basis, our routine gets disrupted. And that's kind of what I wanted to lead into is we have a routine. We believe our routine is successful for our lives, but what do we do when our routine is disrupted? All of us handle routine, the disruption of our routine in a different way. Some of us here, me included, our hair is on fire, don't know what to do, shut down, might go into a corner and get in the fetal position. Although that hasn't happened lately, but it's an ugly look, I can tell you that. Well, but what we do, probably most people in this group are smart enough to understand what that disruption means and how do we handle that. Many different ways. We take a different turn. We start at a different time. We might, instead of taking a shower, we might have our coffee first. We might do our email and then take a shower. I mean, those things are kind of given in the morning. Those are pure basics. But crazier disruptions of routine are, I'll give you a great example. Shannon Lavenia has major surgery. I can guarantee you her routine was disrupted. I can guarantee you that John's routine was disrupted. But as we know, and if you follow Shannon on Facebook, Shannon's coming back stronger and more alive than ever. She's every day, she's stronger. She's talked about this. She's stronger. She's healthier. I was looking at some pictures. She looks phenomenal. And so she found a way to get around or to mitigate, or I'm sorry, to manage through that disruption of routine. John is probably, as busy as he is, as we know he is, has found a way to handle that disruption of routine. There's other people on here. I mentioned this the other day. I'm going to have shoulder replacement surgery next month. That's going to certainly disrupt my routine. I'm going to learn what it's like basically to be handicapped. I mean, with one arm for a good while. And so I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to work in my daily life and my routine and how that's going to manage it. Ego has had a disruption in her routine. We've lost people in our lives, whether they've broken up with us, they divorced us, they passed away, our children moved out. That's a routine that gets disrupted. How do we manage that? I'll give you a great example. I was thinking about this morning. I was shaving this morning and I cut myself and I looked at my razor and I started laughing, and it was because I had to change my razor because they stopped producing the razor I used for 20 years. Damn it. So what did I do? I had to go out and find it. You have to find a product that's going to do what it did for you in the past. It could be shampoo. It could be the cleaner you used. It could be the toothpaste you used for 30 years. They stopped using it. What do? Well, you don't stop brushing your teeth, right? You don't stop shaving. You don't stop coloring your hair. You don't stop changing. You don't stop updating your wardrobe. None of us are probably watching the same TV that we bought 30 years ago, right? Because TVs get updated. Our routine is to watch TV. Some of us not. What do? We update. We change our routine. What the challenge is to continue to do that. I would submit that not all routines are healthy and good for us, right? To break that routine, to come out of that routine is I think is what's brave and fearless of us all. Because when we change the routine, we change what? We change some aspects of our life. So as entrepreneurs on here, our routine might be, well, we have a 9-to-5 job. And our routine is pre-COVID, we might have gone into an office and sat down and answered the phone, took messages, held meetings, what have you. How about that for routine? COVID. We all had to change our routines. We're constantly, daily changing our routines with COVID. We're working from home. We're doing Zoom meetings. We're a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls. I traveled 60 to 70% of the time in my job. I'm home 100%, with the exception of maybe a couple of local trips if my customers are comfortable with the fact that we might social distance and have a face-to-face. And those are obviously, those are critical meetings, and if they can't be held on Zoom or the telephone. So how do we handle that stuff? Can we continue as if we're in business or if we're consultants? Can we continue to navigate through this, hold meetings, be successful? If you're in sales, be better than the competition. If you're in any other line of work, to be successful as far as relevant and doing what you're supposed to do as your job, right? So when we as entrepreneurs and new entrepreneurs have to step out of our comfort zone, which is actually part of our routine, right? Comfort zones and routines can be bad. We can do things over and over. It's kind of, what's the definition of John, I think you know this one, and I'm going to go blank on it. You do the same thing over and over and expect a different result.
Insanity.
Thank you. I couldn't remember that. Couldn't get that word. So we don't realize that we tend to do the same thing over and over. So that routine or that what we do day in and day out is not good for us, because we don't get the result that we want. And so what do we have to do? Step out of that routine, step out of that comfort zone, and learn what it means to take a risk, right? To step out and do things that we're not comfortable with. We do it every day. And I think for the most part, some of us will try to avoid it, right? Because what is stepping out of your comfort zone is stepping into the unknown. And with what comes with the unknown is the fear, and the fear of failure. And so we tend to step back into that routine and that comfort zone, because that's where we are we feel we're the most successful. Now, that may back us into a corner. That may not be the best for us. We as a group here, I think we help each other move, and they're baby steps, right? They're step by step. It's slow, right? And we figure out where we're going to go and how we're going to get there day by day, with the help of everybody here and the help of others that are not in this group, right? So that routine or that comfort zone, the challenge for me, and I think for maybe for a lot of you here, is how do we get out of those? How can we have a balance? How can we balance where we know that our comfort zone and routine that we do to survive daily is good for us? How do we weed out the things that we are also in our comfort zone and our routines, and how do we weed that out and change those so that we can advance our lives? We can come to a level of success that we desire, right? So that's what do we do? It might be on here. It might be leading, hosting one of these meetings. It might be speaking out. There's several people on here that in the beginning we didn't hear from at all. Today they are bright stars and have a lot to offer. And I would be remiss if they didn't speak, if they had never spoken up. I'm glad that they have. We get to the point where I think when we get to the point where the fear overtakes us and we start to withdraw, is where, and I use this term somebody used with me, if you're not going forwards, you're going backwards, right? If you're standing still and not going forward, you're going backwards. So the constant is to improve our lives, is to step out of those comfort zones and those routines and move to different levels that get us to the goals, right? That we've been writing down, thinking of, talking about. And so what might we use? Well, we might use books, The Power of Consistency. We might use Think and Grow Rich. We might read Ego's book. We might read Glen's book, John's book. Those things, those aids, whether they're visual aids or they're books to read, or they're meetings with people who are, experts in this field where we lack. All those things can help us. And for me to be able to go to bed at night and go, you know what, this was a great day because I overcame my fear and stepped out of my comfort zone and my routine, and look what happened. Now, take that step off that curb and you might get hit by a bus. That bus is called failure. And as we've all talked about, we're all going to fail. We'll continue to fail. And the biggest lesson here, and as I think I mentioned in a couple other, and everybody else, there's other people on here. Fear is a lesson, right? We need to fail. We need to fail to learn and keep moving forward. If we don't learn, if we don't fail and learn, then we're really not going to, we're going to stay stagnant, and therefore we're not going to go forward. So I thought, this morning when I was thinking about this today, that the comfort zone is the lane in a highway. Okay, you're in the far right lane, or in some cases over the pond it might be the far left lane, depending on what side the wheel's on. And you're going along at the speed limit, and you have to make the decision: do I put my turn signal on, right or left, depending on where you live, and get out into the passing lane and out of my comfort zone and out of my routine and go hit the gas pedal? And that gas pedal is putting us into, whether it's an Amazon seller, whether it's a book writer, whether it's a presenter here, whether it's somebody who's decided to speak up, or it's changing any aspect in your life. Star, you come to mind, and some of the changes, the big changes you've made in your life. I mean, everybody here. I mean, Therese, I don't know if she's on here. I don't see her on the front page, but oh, there she is. She's made some big major changes. Ego is making some big major changes because of things. Ivier, I mean, everybody here's got a story. We've heard a lot of them. I'd love to hear all of them. We've got them. So I want to end with saying that I don't think there's not a negative aspect to stepping out of your comfort zone or your routine, other than you stay stagnant, other than you stay in that lane. You go, I'm not saying break the law. I'm not saying speed, but you kind of gotta hit the gas to get out of that lane, to get into the passing lane and get into traffic, get out of your comfort zone, do something that you feared, step out and do it, ask for help, whether it's us here, it's experts in the field, or a combination of both. I think that's the best thing we could ever do for ourselves. And with that, I'd like to open it up to have anybody talk about any experiences they've had. And it looks like Lieutenant Colonel out there in California, Mark, is up first. Go ahead, Mark.
Thanks, Jaime. This is a great topic. A bunch of things came to mind. It won't take me long, but what I see this whole year has been all about routine, and actually the disruption of routine. My participation in the Amazon environment and other channels of income, coming here and having John, help and lead. My mentor for me in terms of the transition that I've made, this year with emotional, mental, spiritual aspects of my life, some stability. And I'm looking at this year as sort of kind of an overarching umbrella. I'm calling it transition training. This is what I'm going through, and it's adapt and overcome, staying uncomfortable. The concept of remaining and uncomfortable. So I'm always learning something. So I'm always on the edge. And it's not to say that there are positive aspects to routines and negative aspects to routines. The things that I do every day. A positive one would be the miracle morning and establishing the savers routines. And going through those periods and working with Nicola and learning how to have some meditation, some quiet time, and then the affirmations, the things that are kicking into me now that I'm creating these habits, as John mentioned. So now I'm actually in a routine. I'm establishing habits, positive habits that have a positive impact, and the things that were habits and routines for me that weren't necessarily good for me, I'm moving those on. But and the other thing I'd say as now is becoming more routine for me is a routine of looking for those things that I need to do to improve upon where I'm at right now each and every time. Every day I'm getting better and better, right? So all those kind of things that just kind of fall in place. There's a routine right there. There may be adjustments in that routine incrementally, but that's the routine, is the incrementalization of where I'm going in my life. So this is a great topic. Thanks, man. This is good for me today.
That's good stuff. And routines shouldn't be, in my opinion, shouldn't be written in stone, right? They should be ever expanding and contracting, which allows us to get, to experience our life and to get better. Before Star's next, before I unmute her, I want to let everybody know it's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Star. Actually, you know what? Happy birthday, Star. You're next. Therese is up before you. Sorry. Birthday girl's going to have to wait. Therese, go ahead. Let's hear it. You're going to have to unmute. There we go. We're not hearing you. You're still on mute. No? We can come back. I don't know what's going on here. You show not mute on me on here and your picture, but let's go with Star. Hi, Star. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. And yeah, I've got bubbles. And kindly provided to me by the lovely Nikki, who I'll just have to give Nikki a big shout out right now, because apart from her being the one who sent me the mystery of Bill Bailey cardboard cutout, which arrived 2 days ago, and we didn't know who it was from, and he's provided us with constant entertainment since then, including LV waking me up this morning with Bill Bailey and my presence. But not to top that, when I opened my front door this morning, there was like a little hamper from Nikki as well, with bubbles and specially amazing cake biscuits. So thank you, Nikki. And I can't see you on here, but you're probably hiding because you don't like the praise, is what I think. But you are amazing, amazing, lovely friend, and I don't know what I'd do without you. So that over, I've had a really good day, but today is my first day back at work after nearly a month off, written off by the doctor for stress, for all the problems I've been going through. So it was actually a really interesting and nice day. And I came back, and the first email that was in my inbox this morning was from the director of the government department that I work for, that I'm seconded to, explaining the award that they gave me, why they gave me this award, which was just lovely, and just saying, let me know if there's anything you need. And then basically everybody was, we've missed you, you've been missed, because I sent out a bunch of emails to the different stakeholder groups saying, hi, I'm back, thank you for all your support and the well wishes and all of that. And have just had some incredibly lovely emails back from all the different parties, from the client, from my team, from, you know, it's been really heartwarming. And I even had one of my colleagues, a guy called Mark, when he saw I was back, he FaceTimed me, Teams, you know, video chatted, called me, and he said, I had a sneaking suspicion, because nobody gets told why you're off. So he didn't know. Some people thought I might have had COVID or something, you know, they didn't know why I was not there. And he said that he had a sneaking suspicion it was because of stress. And we had a really open conversation about depression and I explained to him the things I'd been doing to pull myself out of it, and, you know, the reasons behind it, and the books I'd been reading, and the Miracle Morning, and psychocybernetics and all of that. And he just was so impressed that in such a short period of time that, I mean, I didn't tell him all about you guys as well, but he was so impressed. His sister's a counsellor and he has suffered from it a bit himself. And it was just really nice to talk on such you know, in terms of routine, I have broken the routine of my relationships with my colleagues by having this time off, and then by being strong enough to come back and be honest and open about why I was off, which is really, really just lovely. And it's just really heartwarming. Really pleased to be back there, feeling great about work, loving my lockdown birthday, and loving all of you guys.
That's awesome. That's awesome stuff. That's awesome stuff. I didn't even see who's the cutout of. Who is that?
Oh, he's this guy. He's called Bill Bailey, and he is a comedian and musician that's been, as you can see, he's been around for years. And he's kind of a bit of a national treasure-ish, but he's not very mainstream. But he's recently entered into, do you have things like Strictly Come Dancing over there? It's dancing competitions.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's entered Strictly Come Dancing, and he's turned out to be an incredible dancer.
Yeah, Mark just won one last week. No, I'm kidding. It's good stuff. It's good.
And I told Nikki, and I had a conversation with Nikki about 2 weeks ago, telling her about Bill Bailey dancing, and then suddenly a Bill Bailey life-size cutout turns up in my house.
That's the best. That's the best.
So I love Nikki
again. Happy birthday! Enjoy your day. Enjoy what's left of your day. Ego is next, then Toba, and I'm gonna try to Therese, raise your hand and we'll see if I can get you in there. Well, Ego dropped her hand. Well, there she is. Go ahead. Let's go, Ego. Let's hear it. What you got to say.
Therese, do you want to go first?
Go ahead, Therese.
Hi, is that better?
Yay.
Yay. I think it's just one of those glitches in my
yeah, in my service. And so it cuts me out sometimes. Thank you, Jaime. That's wonderful. I really, get out of the lane, or step on the gas and get out of your own lane, get out of your lane. I can sometimes get bogged down in procrastination. And so for some reason that really spoke volumes to me. I'm definitely a routine person, and we just moved into lockdown again. So the gym, I'm not allowed, I have to schedule it, and I can only use it every 3 days, and it's just for 1 hour. And they have it, only open for 5 hours every day. And so, yes, I can go outside. It's a nice day today, but the weather's, ticked up. It's quite cold. It's been wet and nasty. I still can go outside, but, that's a glitch in my routine, right? And for me, that provides balance and focus. And it's just a really integral part of keeping myself on track. So I'm sitting in what you're talking about exactly, and trying to just be with it and come up with some new ideas to get my workout in and still go forward. And I really just love, that hit the gas and get out of the lane. Also, I've been certified as an integrative nutritionist since at the end of 2016, the beginning of 2017. And I built my website, and I hadn't really stepped on the gas and got out of my lane. I was still gaining confidence, I think, back from everything that went on. And so, don't stop doing it. Just change the daily routine, step on the gas. Thank you. Just really speaks to me. And thanks everyone for being a part of my stepping on the gas.
That's good stuff. Yeah, I'm live over the river here from you, and
I know.
it gives it a whole new meaning in trying to get out and get going. All of you, and I'm sure everybody has some similar weather. We've got basically summer and rain as our two seasons here. So it's challenging. It's challenging, especially with COVID and gyms being open or not being open, and the restrictions there too. Absolutely, Therese.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ego, and then Toba is next. And then there are no other hands up for that. So we may wrap up early unless some people start to get some ideas.
Thanks, Jaime. I actually, that topic actually really speaks to me. But the way I see it from a different perspective, in the sense that disruptions do happen. They, we can't avoid them. And I think what it proves, and a lot of us on this call can actually relate with that. What it proves is that we're adaptable to change, we're bendable, we're flexible, right? So although sometimes when there's a disruption to our routine, it may well feel hard or like we've lost control of the day. However, when we have that self-awareness that there's nothing we could have done to avoid the disruption, then I think it's a powerful way to stimulate new thinking, to break bad habits, maybe to adapt better to change. To, if we think about even in a work situation, working with teams, it may well be that we're more collaborative. So let's just say, Star, you mentioned, you've been off for a while and you've gone back into work today. In your team, there must have been some sort of disruption because the team depends on you, or your stakeholders depend on you for, the work that you do, right? That disruption would have caused them to think about other ways to collaborate differently, or to take on some of the work that you were doing. So as much as disruption can be painful sometimes, I think it forces us to think outside the box. And I know that some of us here don't like boxes. I think we were on the call yesterday, Cyril had said he doesn't like boxes because boxes have holes. So let's think outside the box, through disruption.
But thanks anyway. Thanks for the topic.
Yes, thank you. That's good thoughts, and I agree with thinking outside the box, and maybe not a box, but that your box is your comfort zone, is your routine. I mean, they're all kind of intertwined, I think. Thank you. Toba's next, Coila, and then Janet, and then Nicola. Toba.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
Yeah, interesting topic today. This really speaks to me a lot because I love structure. I love orderliness. That's the way I operate. So before Corona came to town, I normally commute to work, spending about 2 hours on the road in the morning. If you've been to Lagos, Nigeria before, you probably understand what I'm talking about. So that's what I do virtually every day. But since March, when this lockdown started, I've been working from home. So which means I need to restructure myself again, trying to find the best fit for me. I know when I do things, when I have to attend a JED mastermind, when I need to eat and sleep, I have everything organized, what I need to do later in the night. Then I did that through Hart for about 6-7 months. Then I traveled again. I came to Canada. And that was a complete ball game for me because I need to support my work still in Nigeria. So I need to wake up around 3 a.m. every day or 2 a.m. to be able to get to work from 8 o'clock in Nigeria, which is about 6 hours behind here. So it was really tough. And my whole routine was completely disrupted. Because, of course, some of the time I wanted to go to bed on time here, but I couldn't. So I ended up being away for almost about 18 hours or 20 hours a day. And that was really tough. But some of this routine was something I really like to do, like JM Mastermind. I don't want to miss that. So I need to find a system that works for me, that enables me to carry on some of those routines that have become a ritual for me. Like working out, like reading books, like attending Lavenia's mastermind. So I've been able to work around that. Of course, you're right, but you have to change things around a bit. It was fun because like Ego said, we have to be adaptable. We have to find a way that makes things work. Things will not always go the way we always plan it, but we always find a way back into it to make sure that we are actually be able to do what we need to do. That's just my contribution.
Absolutely. You got it down. I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to adapt. That's what getting out of your comfort zone and your routines and getting out of the lane is all about. That's exactly right. Thanks, Toba. Appreciate it. Coila, you're up.
Hi there. First thing to say is happy birthday, Star. And also the next thing to say is my internet's really unstable at the moment, so I might just disappear. If I do, very sorry, can't help it. And yeah, comfort zones, I've seemed to have spent the last 3 years chucking myself out of them. And at the moment, my routine has been really disrupted because, as most of you know, I've got a new job and it's shift work. So I've never done shifts before, and it's very hard when you've got shifts that they change all the time. So you'll be on a different shift on each day, and that's going to include nights as well. And that's kind of hard to get used to. And it's been more hard just recently because I've been working a lot of days in a row because I've done some swaps in order to find time to do my ambulance work as well, because I have to be off from my new job in order to do the ambulance work because I can't. It's not a job I can leave. So I can't be on duty with the ambulance and be a care worker because I can't be in two places at once. Which means, for instance, that I've actually only just got home after 23 hours at work, though some of that was sleeping. And I got home and I thought, I feel really kind of disassociated from my life. Having just arrived back after 23 hours, it's almost like I've kind of got used to a new form of existence, and I've now got to get used to having a house and animals and doing stuff. It's bizarre. And of course, I've missed all of you lot as well, because I just haven't been able to be here for the last I don't know, 5, 6, 7 days. I've kind of tried to dip in, but I've only managed to listen to the book club. I haven't really managed to listen to anything else. So I'm really glad to be back, and I've now got a whole week off, though I do have the ambulance. So yeah, I can really relate to this particular topic. And yes, I'm working hard to get my routines back in place, even if they have to shift a bit every day. And yes, hello, everybody.
All right, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Good grief. It sounds like you've got two routines and two lanes and gas pedals. And I mean, it's
I've got lots of pedals.
yeah,
Lots
you got a lot of
pedals.
stuff going on. It sounds like it's you've got it somewhat under control, but that's a bit more than I think most of us are handling. Good kudos to you. Janet's next, and then Nicola. Janet.
Sorry, I was trying to get myself unmuted. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for this topic. It's like, yeah, Janet, you need to get some routine in your life. I'm just the opposite, you see. So when I was working at UCLA and or going to school, it was like, well, I would get bored going the same way every day. So I would have like 4 different routes. Where do I want to go today? I'm still going to the same place, but I would go a different way. I just can't, I need to stay awake. And for me, routine has mostly been boring and mostly kind of numbing. So I try to mix it up. I try to keep myself alive and awake and aware and not just kind of sleeping from here to there and how did I get here? So I've taken a different tact. However, going into COVID and stuff, well, my life is I will say it's easy. I've had to learn to teach online and all of that's been new learning. But going through the day, I'm okay. I keep myself safe and my husband, and we work things out. And that's not been such a problem. It's just a different way of doing things. Okay, fine. Flexibility is built in, not a problem. But now I'm trying to build new routines. I'm trying to, miracle morning. I can't get up that early. and 9 o'clock is my time to be with you guys. And that's already, I haven't gotten everything done. I'm also training to be a shaman. And there's a lot of breath work and things that are that I should be doing in the morning. So I'm working on building that. All of these different things, getting my Qigong back in there so that I can get my exercise in a good way when I need to start the day. I'm on a detox, so I have all these foods that I'm preparing and working on and, to get my instrument in a better position. So I guess for me, the upside has been to build flexibility into my routines always, just because of boredom. And the downside is, well, I haven't really been maybe strong on routines, and now I'm building up new ones and that will serve me better and see the value in having routines to begin with. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Great to hear. Glad you're here. And it's nice to hear all these different these different aspects of everybody's lives when it has to do with changing things up. Nicola, she's next, and that's our last hand up. Unless anybody else has something they'd like to talk about, let's hear it, Nicola.
Yeah, really good topic today, and interesting. I'm the complete opposite of Janet. So it just shows, doesn't it? It means so much for different things for different people. But for me, this year has been probably the biggest in terms of upheaval, I guess, and changing of a routine. So not just for the obvious reason, but I think I've mentioned before, I left my 20-year corporate career to set up on my own. So it was a big shake up to the routine. And I've, like similar to Toba, I've always been a very, very structured person. Everything is in a timetable, in a schedule to the minute. And I think when I started the transition at the beginning of the year, I kind of clung on to that and thought that that's how I need to continue to work. But there's been a part of us trying to kind of fight it and just let it go. And I've just been a bit scared of kind of letting that control, I guess, and that structure and that routine go. But I've just hear you kind of talking through this, I've realized I have in the past couple of months. I've kind of let it go, and I still have my morning routine, that's a given, but there's not as much structure in the rest of my day now. And I've found it's actually opened up a much more creative side to us that I didn't know I had, didn't even know it existed really. And it's just started to open up lots of more doors and different ways and opportunities and things I'm doing now that I would never have guessed I was doing back then. So I guess it's probably goes back to that, having an element of flexibility in your structure and your routine, which I previously didn't, but I do now, and I think it kind of suits me better. So it's just that it's just consciousness, isn't it? Being conscious of kind of when you're your best self, and what is it, what structure or routine is it that's getting you into that position. So yeah, it's been quite a big shift in my routine, but I think I know which one suits me better now. That's great.
That's great. And that, you're right. That speaks to having to not be written in stone. It's not a rock solid one size fits all. It's expanding, and for us and for you, it sounds like it's knowing what's the right fit for you, knowing how to flip that and be open to change. And that sounds like you're grasping that really, really well. Thank you. We have one more hand. Jane is up, and after that, no more hands, but we've got some time. Anybody else that'd like to jump in here, please? Jane, please, you're up.
Hi, thank you. Talking about routine, interesting topic. I just want to ask about the different things going on in the group, different activities, challenging and motivating and all that. I'm struggling to cope with everything. I don't have to cope with everything, but I want to be able to assimilate and like the books, I've got some of the books that I'm reading, but in order to be able to juggle everything within this group that will aid my development, I'm struggling with that. And I'm not sure if anybody else is having a similar issue, or if anybody else have ideas of how to improve on that. Personally, for me, I just thought to throw that within the group.
I think some people probably will weigh in here before we close today. That might be an area where I can't speak for anybody. I won't name names. Anybody that wants to jump in and comment to that, please do so. I can't speak to that right now, but I'm sure there's some people in the group.
Thank you,
Jane.
Thanks for sharing
Jane?
that.
Yep.
I just put a message on the chat. If you want to reach out to me, have a call, and let's just understand, your areas of challenge and, where the overwhelm is, and we can have a discussion on prioritizing and just kind of helping you get through whatever that challenge is.
Okay, thank you. Yeah? I'll reach out later.
Okay. Thank you, Ego. And of course, anybody that wants to talk about this while we're still on today, please, by all means. Thank you. Thanks for sharing, Jane. That's great. That's what this group is all about, for sure. Elmer's back. Hi, Elmer.
Hi, Jamie. How are you doing?
Great.
Great topic that it's just been building all this week. And, the whole notion of routine goes back to like a lot of the books that we have been reading about, like Power of Consistency. And, just even in the course of the time that we've had, especially I think now that everyone's sort of facing different schedules, and people who have kids, can totally relate about, you plan one routine and then, they just throw a wrench into the whole bit of it. And, I think even in the ebb of flow in terms of people coming on to the general session, I think that's one of the things that I think, Nicola sort of, touched upon, is that, we're so hard on ourselves in terms of like, we have to stick to a routine. We have to be power of consistency. I mean, I think to that part, I feel like we need to allow ourselves to be okay if we don't, or we're not consistent all the time. As long as the intention is there, I think we should be, allow ourselves to be like, okay, it's okay today or tomorrow or even the next couple of weeks, that, we allow ourselves to have that room to breathe, because I think that, all the positive energy that comes from here, and, we see everyone's successes, and, we all want to strive for the same. We also need to remember to just breathe. And, to a lot of what people have said, routines are evolving as we evolve as people, and as the different needs and changes of what's required from us also changes. So I think just allowing ourselves to do that, just helps calm a little bit of the nerves. So hopefully that'll help with, with Jane just right before. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. It's funny. I don't think there's any routine when it comes to kids. I mean, it's a routine for that hour, for that minute, for that day, and that routine changes. Right. I mean, we'd love to have them in routines, right? We try to put them in a routine that kind of more fits our life, but good luck with that. Yeah. as everybody gets old, as the kids get older, the routines get a little more structured, but that's a moving target, as I think most of us who have kids, had kids know. So thank you, Elmer. Awesome input. There, Glenn, I was going to say there's nobody else, and anybody else wanted to jump in, Captain Kirk, please.
And here I had to go and open my big mouth. It's interesting. This is a fabulous topic, by the way, today, Jamie.
Thanks.
This is sort of one of those punch me in the face kind of moments. John's had several of them. Now you get to have one, because I come to this whole conversation about routines from the perspective of a musician. The artsy fartsy, go out hang out at night, keep playing gigs all night long, and I despise routine. always have. Here's the thing. What I mean to do in terms of my business goals over the next 2 years will require routine. Otherwise, it won't get done. Certain things that have to be engraved into concrete slabs in the schedule, in my daily activities and production and so forth. And so, as much as anybody, in fact, probably more than some, being the artsy fartsy type, I'm going to need to figure out how to become comfortable with routine. There's this book that I got, and I'm afraid to read. It's by a retired United States Navy SEAL by the name of Jocko Willink. And the book is called, you'll understand in the title why I'm afraid to read this book. The book is called Discipline Equals Freedom. Now, just imagine this. Like, stay out all night, hang at clubs, do gigs, musician, about to read a book, Discipline Equals Freedom. And so my commitment to y'all is I'll keep you posted on this journey, because it's going to be a heck of a journey for me. Thanks. Back to you, Jamie.
Cool. Good stuff. I love that. It's getting out of your comfort zone, right? For sure.
You got that straight, Slim.
Yeah. Hey, that's twice in one day. I appreciate that. So that's it. I don't see any other hands. Anybody else with some the VA, thank you. She's I'd love to hear what VA has to say. You're up.
Hi, Jamie. Hello, everyone. So while you were talking, sorry, I let me go back to what Therese was talking about the gym being closed and back in lockdown. That has been my reality since March. And to be honest, I suspected we're going to have a lockdown 2.0. And I'm not entirely convinced that we won't have yet another lockdown, because the numbers are still pretty high here in the UK. And so I knew right from March that I wasn't going to be in the gym for a while. And that got me thinking about what else I could do to keep my physical activity levels up. And so while we had a great summer, I was doing lots of running, lots of jogging. I was going for hikes in the woods and stuff like that. But as we go into winter, where it gets dark at about 3:30, 4 o'clock now, and it's not really all that nice out there. It's quite cold. I've now once again had to adjust how I get my daily workout. So what I do now is I would still run, but I will try and run a lot earlier in the day, cold or not. I just layer up. And sometimes, it ends up raining while I'm running. As long as it's not a hard rain, then I endure and I just push on and I do my number of laps or whatever that I need to do. And I come back. As soon as I get back, I make sure I get out of those clothes, have a hot shower, have something, just to make sure I don't catch a cold or whatever. But what I've also started doing is if I find I can't go running early in the day, I wear lots of layers and I still go for a walk. So I will try and do double the distance that I would run, but I would do a brisk walk. And I've mapped out, like Janet, several routes so I don't get bored doing the same route when I go walking. So the routes I run are very different from the routes I walk. And I try to go in opposite directions. And I push myself every week. I increase the distance, right? Just to give me that extra something to still keep me motivated and excited. And, and so that's what I do. And the time of day changes. It just has to fit in with my schedule, has to fit in with my 9 to 5, has to fit in with the business side of things, has to fit around these calls. So all of that, I mean, I'm willing to make those adjustments on a daily basis. Something else I've had to do is as the seasons change, once again, because I need to watch what I eat, it's how I eat, and how I prepare what I eat. So in summer, it's easier to have a salad. When it's cold and wet outside, the salad is kind of like the last thing you want. But at the same time, you don't want to go down that slippery slope and then get tucked into, the bad foods, right? And so it's now more stir fries than salads. So I'm still getting the vegetables, still doing the healthy stuff, but it's just a different temperature. So those are the kind of adjustments that I'm doing on the things that, just off the top of my head. One thing I will say, though, is there are certain things that I think are non-negotiable when it comes to routine. If we want to get to that objective, if we want to get to that destination, if we want that desired outcome. And one of those things is consistency. So you might one day, not do as much, but even if you only took 2 steps in the right direction, you're still being consistent. If you did it 1 or 2 days in a row, and day 3 and day 4, you didn't do it, and then day 5, you sort of did it half-hearted, that's not consistent. But what is consistent is showing up every day, right? It's doing however much you can do every single day. And so that is a key ingredient. If we want that, if we really have that burning desire, if we have that definiteness of purpose, if we want that thing bad enough, we've got to keep moving towards that goal. We can't just let it slide. We can't give up on ourselves for 1 day, for 2 days. You lose momentum and then you got to start all over again, right? So they're just some critical ingredients that are non-negotiables, I'm afraid. We got to be persistent. We just can mix it with faith. We got to act, we've got to have a plan. They're just things, think and grow rich. I mean, the principles, he keeps saying in the book that if we don't put those principles into practice, they're not going to work for us. So it's one thing to read the book. It's another thing to apply the principles. And so they're just some things that we need to understand as a group are non-negotiable for us. People out there, they have a choice. But in this group, we've decided we're not leaving anybody behind. It's fine if physically you're not up and ready for it and you have to take a time out to recover, to regroup. That's fine. But as long as you are well and you're able, even if you got to crawl the next 2 days, crawl. Just don't sit still. Don't stand still. Don't lose momentum. If you can't run today, go for a walk. If you can't go for a walk, if you got a pack of sugar at home, lift that pack of sugar, while you're typing up something or while you're on a call, put your video off. If you're on a Zoom call or work call, put your video off and just keep doing, arm lifts with that pack of sugar in your hand. It's still a form of physical activity. It may not be your daily run, but you're still getting your body, your blood, flowing. You're still getting your heart rate up. just don't stop. Because when you stop for one day, you stop for 2 days, the body gets into this, oh, okay, we're not exercising anymore. And then you got to go through the teething pains all over again. So that was what was coming up for me as you were talking. Thanks, Jamie.
I'm so glad you weighed in. It's like I said, if you're sitting still, you're going backwards, right?
Yeah.
Especially in this day and time. It's funny. I'm going to say this real quickly. That I think a lot of people have heard this. The bike that's kind of taken the rage. It's all the popularity is the Peloton. These guys have decided to take advantage of, and I use that term loosely, of today's what's going on in today's world, and they're letting you buy that bike interest free. You know, they're selling the bike, and you can finance that thing over, if you can, over several years without paying any interest. And I think it's it has something to do with people being, Therese was talking about her gym. She can only go, what is it, every 3 days, and you can only have so many hours in there. And I mean, if you look at what you're paying for your gym over a period of time, what you might have this bike is this in-home cycling class. I did the math, and it was a no-brainer for me. But yeah, can't stay still. Got to keep going forward. Got to make changes for sure. Thank you so much. I have one more hand up. That's Kim, and then I think we're gonna probably wrap up unless somebody jumps in real quickly. Kim, please.
Hi everyone. Thank you for this topic today, Jamie. It was really good, and EVA. Wow, everything you just said was just right here in my heart. I just, I've really been struggling lately, just kind of feeling stuck. And, was thinking about, all the books that we've read. I've read the 5-Second Rule and the Miracle Morning, and I'm still trying to get through the Power of Consistency. But, just feel like I've developed such good habits, from being part of this group. And, I guess I kind of want to go to where Glenn was talking about, like the artsy fartsy, he said, but for me, that's like, I'm kind of the free spirit, and my husband is military. Mark, you'll understand this, Phil is just a military man, and he's just so consistent in everything that he does. And he's had a routine for how many years, and I'm kind of like, flowing in the wind. But, I have developed some routine since being with this program, and felt that I was doing super, super great. And just some things have come our way, and I hit the brick wall, and I feel like, kind of shattered everywhere, and I'm trying to put all the pieces back together. But I needed to hear what you said today, EVA, because that's kind of how I've been feeling, like, oh my gosh, I've fallen off track. I can't get focused. I'm not exercising. I'm not doing all these things that I should be doing. But, you're right. We just, we keep taking one step, put one step in front of the other, and just continue to do that routine and not give up. And so even if it's just one little thing. And so, I mean, I spent 2 weeks, probably close to 2 weeks, doing nothing and laying in bed. And, and now, so, I mean, I got up today and I opened up all the windows. To me, that was a big win. That might not be a big win to anybody else, but to me, it's a big win. I'm like, I'm opening the windows, I'm getting all this crap out of here, and I'm going to start fresh. So, I don't know, I'm just kind of rambling, but thank you for everything you said, and just, the power of consistency and being consistent, and just developing those habits every single day and staying focused. And I guess just celebrating the little wins, like we do. And so I guess for me, opening the windows today was a big win, and tomorrow will be a better day. So I don't know. Thanks for letting me share and ramble.
Thanks, Kim. Appreciate that. And by the way, your win is your win. It doesn't matter. I said this a couple weeks ago. It doesn't matter how big it is. It could be a 2%, 5%, 100% success. The win is a win on any level. It's better than a loss. And right. I wouldn't. Don't beat yourself up. That's great. It's great input. Appreciate that. Thanks. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to wrap it up with a quote from a famous boxer I think everybody knows, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, who was prolific in his sport, his quote was, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And that punch in the mouth is that change in routine. Is that what comes at us that we need to be able to take and accept and work around and work through. So With that, I'm going to leave you with that today. Thanks everybody for your participation. We've got the hospitality room for anybody that's going to jump in there. I love it. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Jamie.
Here's somebody. Take care.
Thanks, Jamie.
Jamie. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.